Hello and welcome to DMP Postscript, our show that happened after our final show. My name is Adam and I will be your host. Joining us today in the studio, we have a SUCCI employee and CCPAC founder, Thomas McDonald. Thomas, can you tell us a little bit about what you do here and also a little bit about yourself too?
Hi, Adam. Thanks for having me today. As you said, I do work for SUCCI. I'm SUCCI's Administrator of Communications and Marketing. And so I do all of the sort of print and digital media and communications for SUCCI. And the other hat that I love to wear is as the Artistic Director and founding member of the Confederation College Performing Arts Club.
Yeah, and that's something that we share a little bit of history with. In my first year here, I didn't hear about it, but my husband did, and he got a card saying, hey, you want to sing? You want to act? Come to CCPAC. So what does CCPAC, which I keep calling that, is there a longer name for it?
The Confederation College Performing Arts Club has existed for 22 years. We are in our 22nd season. We are a group of performers, actors, techs, clowns, and buffoons who gather together weekly and put on performances. I always say that the club is a little bit like a service club, more than just a theater production company, because all of the funds that we raise do go to charitable endeavors. So we have supported a wide variety of charities in our community, from the Canadian Mental Health Association, the CNAB, the RFDA, and various others, all the way through to supporting a bursary for students in their first year of performance or who demonstrate leadership within the club, called the Rising Star Award. We're also donors to the college's theater renovation, which is underway right now. So all of the money that we raise through our performances directly goes back to support the community.
Yeah, so over the pandemic, we actually had a bit of trouble because we were going to be putting on one of our gallery shows, and suddenly, COVID-19 hit. And what were we, 1 week out of the show?
We were a week and a half away from opening night, and COVID swooped in and shut us down and parked that show. But luckily, we were able to sort of switch gears. And what was interesting is a lot of theater moved to a virtual space. There was a local community group who started up called Come Play With Me.
Yep.
And we were able to, as the Performing Arts Club, join Come Play With Me. Our actors, our performers were able to participate in various shows that they did. And also to produce our own unique productions through Come Play With Me. And then a year later, we were able to partner with DMP here to produce our virtual gallery. So our evening of one-act plays that we actually performed online. And we were able to produce new works, we were able to produce revivals, and we were able to produce a couple of standing pieces from the public domain. So a wonderful experience working with our students to provide them an opportunity to strut their stuff technically, but also for our performers. It was really the first time we had all been in one room in over a year. And in fact, most of the plays rehearsed virtually.
Yeah, and we have prepared a little bit of a montage, so why don't we take a look fast and see how it ended up going?
So yes, this was an original piece. This is a classic piece. It's nice to see our performers and to make use of the studio space. It really was more producing for television than producing for stage.
Yeah, which is a new skill set that the actors got to learn how to do, and that the students here at DMP got to really show off their talent and skills that they've learned as well. There I am, the corpse on the couch, and there's one of our alumni there too, Carson. Two of them actually, Carson and Shayna, and then there's a little familiar person there at the end there.
I think there's you're right, that using that different skill set, and also for the DMP folks, you folks don't do a lot of high scripted right? Really more like, what you would call soap opera or sitcom, right? There isn't a lot of that. So I think a nice experience to test drive working in that world, the scripted television.
Yeah, and it was really fun too because we came in literally on the day of, learned what the sets were, and it's like, okay, I guess we're gonna do this show in about 5 minutes. So
scripted multi-camera, right? Like
yeah,
very much that sitcom aspect.
Yeah, it was a great time there. Now, even though acting might be one part of student life here, is there anything else students can become involved in here at the college?
There are a wide variety of things that we do as SUCCI, your student association. We run all measure of activities from athletic opportunities. We actually have a golfer, Matthew Chochu. Right now, our Thunderhawks golfer, for the first time ever, is competing at the National Golfing Championships in Windsor. So it's amazing that we have sport opportunities. We have 5 sports. They are golf, cross-country running, men's and women's indoor soccer, curling, which we field a men's, a women's, or a mixed team. And we also have women's hockey as a club team. We do campus recreation activities, and we do tours and adventures. So this is our folks on our fall bus tour. They went to Gammondale Farms and Kakabeka Farms.
Yeah.
Kakabeka Falls, not Kakabeka Farms. I'm sure there are farms in Kakabeka. We just didn't visit them.
Yeah.
But our folks were out there, and yes, Gammondale Pumpkin Fest. As you can see, mostly international students. Because, again, a lot of our local folks have been to Gammondale.
I've been there, yeah.
Seen the falls.
And just being able to afford that opportunity where buses don't run out there, because even though students get a bus pass, busing to Kakabeka Falls isn't a thing. So
no, not at all.
Being given that opportunity to go and appreciate nature there, because a lot of times...
And affordably.
Yeah, and affordably too, because there's just no cars or no transportation, or they just simply don't know where to go to there.
Plus, it's that nature of making some friends along the way, right? That I think that's a really big part of the college life experiences.
Yeah.
Opportunities to meet and engage with people. Last night we had sex toy bingo. It's the middle of our healthy sex week.
Yeah.
Healthy sex and sexuality week. So we had sex toy bingo in the cafeteria. You're seeing mostly international students here. Last night it was mostly domestic students. And because of COVID, we've learned a whole bunch of things. One of the things that we've learned is that we can do things in person. We can do things fully virtually. And sometimes we do things at the same time, both virtually and online. So we're doing hybrid. We did hybrid bingo last night. So we had about 55 or 60 people in the cafeteria and 40 people playing via Zoom from all across the province. So
yeah. Now, in terms of the pandemic, I heard things got a little spicy. Not because we're talking about the sex week, but because things were heating up in the kitchen. Can you tell us a little bit about your endeavors in the kitchen with Sizzling with SUCCI?
So Sizzling with SUCCI is our monthly cooking show, and my colleague Susan Tucker and I decided during the pandemic that we would start a cooking show.
Yeah.
Just like everyone else, we're like, how can we be on the internet? And Sue is not a cook. She will be upfront with you and not mad at me for saying that she is not a cook, but she has become very good at doing this. So what you're seeing right now is actually our September show, which was healthy sandwiches. So Sue was making a veggie stack, and I was making a grilled, like a pulled chicken.
Yeah.
A pulled chicken sandwich. We actually broadcast this from the SUCCI office. During the pandemic, we actually started with both of us in my kitchen at my house.
Yeah.
And then when we were no longer able to be in the same kitchen, Sue was broadcasting from her kitchen and me from mine, sometimes her from the office and me from my kitchen. We've run a monthly episode basically for a year now. And in a couple of weeks, we are back with our Sizzling with SUCCI Halloween treats, healthy Halloween treats. So you might get to see Sue and I in Halloween costumes.
Oh, exciting.
Brewing up something exciting. on the internet.
Now, how have you found the opportunity like this helps people who are, whether they're domestic or international students? How do you find this has been an engaging piece of content? Like, do you have folks messaging you like, "Whoa, I had this meal. It was great." Like,
we have folks telling us they really enjoy. It's less about, I think, the quality of the food and more about watching Sue and I be idiots on the internet.
Yeah.
I think that's where the entertainment factor is. We actually also have had people tell us the food is good, right? That they have enjoyed the food.
Yeah.
We've made a wide variety of things, but I think it's just the fact that Sue partially is really open about not being a cook, and watching her succeed at things means anyone can do it.
Well, yeah, exactly, because it's so different watching on television. Oh, here's Paula Deen putting butter into butter, and she's making it into a fantastic meal, but we know she can do that. You know, she is a professional chef. Versus seeing two people from Thunder Bay working at the college here.
Look at those snazzy close-ups, by the way. I'm just gonna say, check out that sexy, punch-in shot there. We've become much more technically adept as time has gone on as well. But the other thing too is that we right now have students learning all over the world. We have students in India. We have students in Asia. We have students in North Bay and all over Ontario learning along with us. So this has been a way that we can reach out to our distance ed students and our students learning remotely and engage with them as well.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that the college is in Healthy Sex Week and that you had bingo here, but it was in person and online. What is one way that you've been able to engage students in talking about healthy sex? Because that's, we were in a pandemic. People were supposed to socially distance, but I don't think necessarily everybody was at all times because they had a lot more free time. How did you find ways to make sure students, staff, and alumni were keeping it safe?
Well, we started for the first time last year our virtual Healthy Sex Fair. This is sort of an offshoot of our SUCCI Spotlights, which is our weekly chat show. So our board members have been interviewing on-campus and community services about how they can support students. And really last year with a focus on virtual, this year with a focus on a return to campus, but also those virtual pieces. So we created the virtual Healthy Sex Fair. And we invited local entertainer Nancy Freeborn to be our host. Nancy will talk about anything. And she's comfortable with her body, her sexuality, and encouraging other people to be comfortable with their body and their sexuality. And so we invited Nancy on. She spoke with Deanna Kirkfleet from our Pride Center here at the college. And a public health nurse named Aretti from the Thunder Bay District Health Unit. We're hoping to do this again in the winter and maybe get the folks from Elevate, Northwestern Ontario, and maybe the Umbrella Clinic in to chat, have Nancy back and have that frank conversation again. It was really great because we weren't just talking about how not to get pregnant and how not to get an STI. It was great that, we're talking about relationships and we're talking about consent and we're talking about opportunities to know and explore your body and how heteronormative ideas of sexuality can sometimes be damaging and difficult for folks on a gender and sexuality spectrum. Right.
Well, and it's a lot of times too, people having sex education in primary school all the way up to secondary. It's very heteronormative. It's very like, okay, this is this is that. And, censored word here.
Let's all color the uterus and the fallopian tubes, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's that.
Where it's anatomy, but it's not practicality because...
Well, and we also know that we have a wide variety of folks, again, learning from around the world. And we know that our sort of Western idea of sexual education isn't necessarily global, right? So this information might be the first time that people are having or hearing a frank discussion about sexuality that isn't just no, don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or no, don't talk about it. Right? The like anything, like mental health, all of those bits and pieces, the more we talk about them, the more we normalize them, the more we destigmatize them, the more likely people are to engage in those behaviors safely and in an educated way.
Yeah. Now, would that cost anything to students? Was it like, donate $5 to tune
free.
in?
Absolutely free. Almost everything that we do is very free. I say it's free or affordable. We very rarely charge more than $20 for anything. For instance, the bus tour was a $10 fee, mostly just to make sure you came.
Yeah.
We've got our Mystic Fair coming up. Mystic Fair is a $5, and really that's a registration fee again just to make sure you have what I like to call a little bit of skin in it. Right?
Yeah.
Right. You've given us something that means you're likely to show up.
Yeah, exactly. Because we can only put on so many free events.
And it's really less about that. It's more about ensuring that we're not costing that opportunity for someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you say you're going to do it, you put your money into it, you're going to come and do it.
Yeah.
As opposed to us saying, I'm sorry, it's full, and half the people not showing up. And then that opportunity gets wasted for someone else.
And it's $5. That's a coffee, done. So in terms of your role at SUCCI and engaging with these students, what else do you sort of do in any capacity?
Well, I'll tell you about a moment I had last week. I was sitting across the table from a student who was very young, and he mentioned that my generation wouldn't understand. And I felt remarkably old, and then wondered when I became someone's dad. But he had a great point. SUCCI has just started a Discord server as a place for people to chat and connect. We have branched out. We're sort of creating channels through there for special interests. It's an opportunity for employment. It's an opportunity to talk about athletics and recreation, to talk with our distance education students and create those specialized conversations for them, but also to share with them. We also, as I said, we run a weekly news show. Our weekly news show just went live, and our student leader is broadcasting from his home. We're streaming it from here. Thank you, Zoom.
Yeah.
And all of that. And then we have our weekly shows. So we've sort of shifted to partially running a television station.
Yeah.
Doing in-person events, doing print and media. It's an interesting adventure because we sort of do whatever needs doing. That's how I like to see my job. If there's something that needs to be operationalized, I'll make sure it happens. It's never a dull day.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Well, and it's just really nice that even over this pandemic, which had a lot of people bogged down, what do I do? How do I do it? Just being able to say, we are still here as your student union. We are here to support you in any capacity, whether it's us learning how to cook online and making fools of ourselves, but making a good meal, or talking about healthy sex in a virtual way that's accessible to anybody anonymously too, because
you don't have to awkwardly come sit in a room and put up your hand, and you can watch this from home, right? And we go live frequently, and that going live provides us that opportunity to have a conversation that people can engage in, not only in that moment, but because it will live in perpetuity, right? It lives at our sites, and they can engage with it as they're ready. Weekly yoga, we've got all kinds of things that really, are providing those wellness opportunities, those social opportunities, those, we also had some flops. I won't lie. I definitely, we tried the Netflix party action.
Yeah.
And that mostly resulted in me watching Jurassic World by myself.
Which, hey, you know what? Still a win.
Talking into the void, right? Screaming into the void. But,
it's
all trial and error, even in person, it's trial and error.
Yeah. Now, do you have any upcoming projects or anything we as student staff and alumni should be looking out for to expect?
Well, the Performing Arts Club has an upcoming show. We'll be opening on the 28th of October, the 28th, 29th, and 30th. We are running an outdoor haunted hike called The Inheritance. The Inheritance follows a young man who receives a mysterious letter summoning him to the town of Birchall Lake, a small town he had never heard of before. Summoned to receive an inheritance. And so this young man arrives in this mysterious small town only to find that the inheritance may be something entirely different than property or money.
Yeah.
So we go live with that show. The tickets are $10 each. It's really cost effective. And we're almost sold out. So if you do want those tickets, you're going to look quick.
Yeah.
You can find those at facebook.com/Confed Performing Arts or on your student portal, our staff portal, or at SUCCI.com. There are lots of places where you can find those. And the Performing Arts Club is beginning work on their winter musical, their entirely lip sync musical. And I'm not going to give away too much because we haven't revealed it, but we are developing an adventure story, which we've never done before. We have never done an adventure story, and let me tell you, there might be cogs and gears and leather and lace and all of the things, to make for a steamy evening of musical theater.
Well, now it just sounds like it's going to be a healthy sex week of theater. So
not exactly that. Not exactly that. A little more Jungle Cruise than that.
Yeah. But any final thoughts? Any advice for anybody who's a student here?
You know what? The best thing that you can do to complement what's happening in your classroom is to get involved outside the classroom. I will say employers are looking for well-rounded, right? And sometimes the skills that you learn doing those extracurricular activities are the skills that put you over the top when it comes to getting that job.
Yeah.
So, it's the value added, right? The diploma is the expectation. It's the extra things that are the value added that put you over the top, right? Employers expect that everyone is coming with that skill set.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to see what else? What else can they do? What else have they got?
Exactly. And, it's a brand new year. We hope that everybody comes out to all of these SUCCI events. You will most likely see Thomas there. Thank you so much for joining us on DMP Postscript. My name is Adam. I have been your host, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Thank you.